Alright guys, so here we have it. This is out of a 2004 Mazda RX-8. These bolts, all the way around here, go all the way through the engine. For instance, you can see right here, this bolt is all the way down to here. This bolt is just holding this front plate on. Alright, so the absolute most commonly used socket size on the 13B Rotary is a 10 millimeter, a 12 millimeter, and a 14 millimeter. So, cool little tip, you know, if this was any other kind of pulley and didn't have the force of the motor trying to spin the rotors and everything in here and the eccentric shaft, you would have zero drag. This would free spin. So every time you try to do this, which this one still does it, it just spins. You can't, you know, it's impossible to loosen them this way. So what you can do to remedy that is, if you have a way to hold this from the outside, you know, you'd be kind of hard pressed to hold this with your hand. And I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I'm not strong enough. Oh, maybe I am. What do you know? Just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to show you what I was going to say instead. You would have another ratchet and socket and set it on one of these, set it to tighten it, set the other one to loosen. If at all possible, crisscross the two to where when you squeeze on this, it's going to loosen this one. Go ahead and loosen the oil pan. Oh, I forgot about that. Starting to think I should have left the flywheel on. Now real quick, I'm going to take this off. This is the pickup tube for the oil pump. Alright, I did away with that so that I can set the engine back down how it already was. Alright. On to the fun stuff. Now we're going to take these out. Got that. I'm going to put this back up like this. Alright. Just want you guys to see this bolt Not sure that you'll be able to see it, but I just wanted you guys to kind of see this bolt as I take it out. Now, if you'll notice, it's got a set of threads right here, along with the fine threads that go into the very end. I think that's a great idea, because otherwise, how else would this bolt hold up to all that torsion? It holds onto the center plate along with holding onto the front plate here. This is going to sound slightly silly, but basically the engine is put together like a very intricate sandwich. Next, we'll loosen these bolts surrounding this rear bearing. Alright. There just comes a point in time when your definition of a pry bar has to vary a little bit. Whew. This comes off. Some very important pieces inside of this rotary puzzle are, for one, the coolant water jet. They're called water jacket seals. They're the seals around the coolant passageways. A very important piece of this is there's dowel rods, and where they go is pretty specific. On this engine, there's this hole that's just kind of there. This dowel rod sits in there, and when you put this on, that dowel rod will also sit in this hole. That's another way they have to help hold the plates together. If you remember, if you watched my video, this engine was making a knocking sound, and like I said, if you do a little research on these engines and how they work, you'll understand why that's such a weird problem to have. So, alright, so if we look at this, we see that this chamber is shaped like this. It's an oval, but it's tucked in at the sides. This is the rotor, this is the eccentric shaft. As this spins, this is the intake port, this is the exhaust port. So this is a chamber, this is a chamber, this is a chamber. So it spins around here. It takes in fuel and air. It spins around. It gets compressed right here. This is the compression phase. As soon as it gets about dead center, just a little bit past, ignition. And that sends this with a little more motion this way. And then you'll see this one starts up as well. The next cylinder then takes in, or not cylinder, the next chamber then gets intake. This knocks around, This gets compression right here. And then this one exhausts out the exhaust port. Compression, ignition. This rotor will come straight out. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. Yep, there we go. Good old Dollar General screwdriver. Should be able to get a hold of it now. Alright. Here's what it looks like. We've got apex seals right here. They seal to the side walls. We've got these side seals that seal. It goes all the way. You can't hardly see them. They're pretty wore out. But there's a seal all the way here, here, and here. And then these are corner seals. They all have springs underneath them to hold them each direction. These apex seals are held towards the inside wall here. These side seals and corner seals are aimed here and the other inside spot. Alright. First rotor housing. I might have to beat on it a little bit. Sure, there's a much easier way to do this, better way to go about this, but just so you know, I am planning on scrapping most of this engine. I'm not planning on this being a working rotary in the end. I'm just taking this apart, simply an informational video. So alright. Yeah, alright. See here on this inside, see if can you guys see that? Yeah, so on this inside we've got this large hole here, slightly smaller hole here. These get 2 spark plugs per rotor. One in here, one here. Rotor housing number 1. Alright. Now I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to go much farther right now because I forgot I have to have the eccentric shaft almost all the way out, I'm pretty sure, for this next part, because this piece actually sticks over. This piece actually sticks over this center hole. So, yeah. I don't believe there's much of anything I can do at this point.